Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. The main talking points on tonight's programme here on STV. Rangers liquidators can appeal the EBT tax case to the Supreme Court. Hibs are off to La Manga in preparation for Sunday's League Cup final, with the Easter Road boss Alan Stubbs saying a win for his side would be his greatest achievement in his sporting career. And could the return of Johnny Hayes to the Aberdeen team boost their title challenge? Just a few of the topics I'll be discussing alongside Alan Rough. Very rarely, Ruffy, that we are on this programme and our guest fails to turn up, but we've written his name down and it's as simple as this. He's in the bad books.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I would think that maybe he's got something to come up. It's a hard life being a football manager, and maybe he's just had to deal with something that's more important than us, unfortunately.
Absolutely, Ruffy. Well, it will actually influence my tips for the weekend. I'll be tipping the team he's playing against. It's as simple as that, Ruffy. You know, hell hath no fury like a pundit scorned.
Yeah, I always thought there'd be relegation material anyway.
Absolutely, I think they're going down too. Let's crack on. So, listen, this one is it's a news item that people over the last 5 years or so have been tiptoeing around. So, the latest stage we're at with Rangers at the Old Co is the liquidators BDO have been given permission to take this to the Supreme Court. They've won the right for the appeal against HMRC. So, quite simply, this one will go to a Supreme Court. Now, again, the implications here are simple. I think a lot of clubs are looking on with great interest as to how this one's going to actually pan out.
Yeah, and as far as Rangers are concerned, this is something that they really want to go away. You know, that and the Mike Ashley, you can hear Dave King talking about it. If they can get these two things out of the way and move on from there, everything's going well on the park, but these two keep raising their head, and the sooner they get it sorted, the better.
Yeah, well, I think the case itself, the review of this should come certainly in the next couple of months, and I think you're absolutely right. If they can get an end to that one and a definitive answer, it will clear up a lot of things. Although, if indeed HMRC win, I think it opens the floodgates for a fair few clubs being right behind the eight ball as far as tax implications are concerned. But it's serious stuff.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's not just Rangers that did it. There's clubs down in England that'll be waiting to see the outcome, and unfortunately Rangers, they seem to be the trial case, you know, and then they'll take it, whatever happens, they'll move it further if they can.
Okay, on to football issues on the park. Your guys are off to La Manga. It's raining there at the moment. I'm not quite sure if they're acclimatising themselves there to get ready for Hampden Park. But Hibs, Alan Stubbs, no surprise that as a manager, if he can pull this off, he reckons it'll be the greatest moment in his sporting career to date.
Yeah, I would have thought he'd maybe cut that down a wee bit as a manager, because certainly as a player, you know, he's been in Celtic Rangers game, he's been in Everton Liverpool games, you know, so he must feel, you know, in the next stage of his career, this is a notch that he wants on his CV, and they'll go there obviously with a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Did you ever get away, you know, when you were preparing for a cup game?
No, I think the modern day professional will be away and really looking after themselves. I remember we get taken away. It was the World Cup in '82. We get taken away to Sotogrande with Jock Stein as the manager a week before. In fact, it was 10 days before any of the games. And old school, obviously, it was a 10-day holiday, or we thought it was going to be a 10-day holiday, but with Big Jock in charge, as soon as we arrived in Sotogrande in the afternoon, it was about 100 degrees. And he said to everybody, look, we've had a long travel. You know, I want you to go into your rooms. I want you to relax, you know, just get used to the place, unpack, and then we'll have tea at night, you know. So players being players. As soon as we get into the room, get the bags open, get the sun cream on, we were out in the sun loungers. But the big man was one step ahead of us. He was just waiting, and was all coming out and caught every one of us red-handed. Yeah. So that was the way he was.
Changed days. Players no longer have a step ladder to get out the first floor of a hotel, Ruffy. But to the modern day player, one in particular I think will be feeling it right now, and that's Dylan McGeoch. He's out with an injury.
Yeah, we've discussed this on numerous occasions. Players who who are there for the whole, right through all the rounds, and then you pick up an injury. I think an injury is probably worse than the suspension carry on of being suspended for the game. So you just have to get his head around it. But I'm sure Alan Stubbs has been the good manager that will keep him involved. I don't know if you remember John Hartson. I remember John Hartson in the final in Seville.
Yeah.
I remember looking over in the stadium where the players were all in the park warming up, and he just was a lonely figure sitting and just watching what could have been, and it must have been a horrible experience to miss out in a final.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one last point on this, Ruffy. Are Hibs or Ross County, who are the favourites going into this one?
Yeah, I don't think that either of the two of them are going into the game with form. I think, again, I keep saying cup finals are what players can soak up the atmosphere, which set of players can step up to the mark on the day. And I have to say that both teams have got these kind of players. You're looking at Henderson, you're looking at Stokes, Cummins, and you're looking at Ross County. I like the boy Irvine. I think he's super. Boyce scoring goals. So both of them will get players. We saw Ross County turn it on against Celtic, although it was against 10 men.
Yeah.
But they have the ability to rise to the occasion. So I just feel as if it's whichever of the two teams rises to the occasion on the day.
Yeah, and again, the other thing that sticks in my head about it, Ruffy, when we're working under normal circumstances, if we were working at the game, there'd be a real professional attitude. But I noticed that when you're at the game, especially in semi-finals and in previous rounds, you start shouting. Will you start shouting? Obviously, if you don't like the decision. If you don't like the decision.
No, I think it's the fact that you've at least when you're on the part, you can do something about it.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting in a seat, there's very little you can do. But you do get frustrated sometimes, particularly with whatever team you're supporting.
Yeah, yeah. I just kind of stayed silent and kept looking at you every now and then, thinking, "What are you doing?" But nevertheless, I'm going to be intrigued to see what you're going to be shouting on Sunday for the game. You can give us your view on who you think is going to come out on top. Do you think there are indeed favourites going into this one? Is it Hibs? Is it Ross County? At Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy, and you can go to peterandruffy.com, because last night's battle that you two started, you and Gordon came up with your combined 11, and we've had a massive response to it already. A massive response to you only naming two Rangers players in it.
Well, I was driving along the road on the way here, as we know we have cars, and I stopped at the lights, and boy was tooting his horn, and I rolled down the window, think he was going to say, "How you doing, Ruffy?" He went, "You're having a laugh." That selection. So he wasn't too happy. He must have been a Rangers supporter.
Brilliant. So tonight, one of your other teams that used to play for Partick Thistle against Aberdeen, Johnny Hayes coming back. I mean, Bannigan's out for Thistle, which is a blow, but Johnny Hayes, that's an early return. I think that's a massive bonus for him.
Oh, it's massive. I mean, we've talked about Hayes, we've talked about Rooney. Which of the two would be missed most? And I think Hayes is the one for me, and it'll be a headache for Alan Archibald tonight. As will Bannigan not playing. He's super. He's been great this season, and he looks as if he's going to Aberdeen. Alan was saying that, but that hasn't happened so far. So I think if Thistle could just take something out of the game, but again, you have to say pressure's on Aberdeen. If they want to hang on to Celtic, they need to win every game that they go into, and Thistle might just be the team that might just stop.
Okay. Listen, if they stop them tonight, I think we just forget about even suggesting Aberdeen is.
Yeah, but I think Derek's handling it very well. I like the way he's talking up his players. Why shouldn't you? Because everybody else will be saying their players should be due a wee run in an international, and the players that he's mentioned have certainly done very well this year, and they should be in it.
Yeah, Shane McLean?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. I always think that if we see players week on week throughout the year, give them a chance. Sometimes you might just get a surprise by one of them. He might just be able to play at that level.
Yeah. So if they don't win tonight, game over. We stop talking about them as title contenders.
Yeah, I think Derek knows that as well. I think that one game, that's the unfortunate thing for him. One loss is the end, but that might just inspire the players to go out and put in a performance. Yeah,
they want to try and replicate Leicester. If they maybe half the players, Leicester have got a good 4 or 5 that can change a game.
Well, I think it was Gordon was telling us that there's somebody out there with an Aberdeen Leicester double. I don't know what he's got on it, but certainly if that comes up, it'd be some amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. He's sitting in his house right now with a Leicester strip and an Aberdeen one and sweating every time both of them play. That would be some amount of money to win. Ruffy is here with me, Peter Martin. We are going to continue to talk football and Champions League football next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Two people in particular I think deserve a little bit of credit. The Championship Manager of the Month for February is Peter Houston of Falkirk.
Yep, we've been talking them up for the last 2 months now. I think Falkirk have added something to the title run-in, and they've still got something to add to it, I'm sure, in the games coming up. Obviously, they've got Rangers coming up as well, and I think, obviously, if Hibs were to take their eye off the Cup, Falkirk might just sneak in there.
Yep, and they've got a real chance to put a bit of distance between themselves and Hibernian before Hibs get back into Championship action. Ruffy, psychologically, could that be a real bonus for them as well?
Yeah, I always feel it's better having the points than chasing the points. I think when you see somebody with 3 or 4 games, it means that the pressure's on you to win these games to get the points that you need. So I always feel as if points in the bag are much better.
Yeah, Falkirk, realistically, Ruffy, they're not going to catch Rangers, but do you think they can upset the apple cart here? Because all of us, I think, are guilty of always looking towards Hibs in this against the second bottom team in the Premiership, but Peter Houston has been singing from a different hymn sheet.
And I think he's been singing from a great hymn sheet. I think he's been playing it pretty low key, taking every game as it comes, you know, not falling into the Hibs Rangers scenario, you know, and keeping the pressure off the players. And but that'll mount if they were to go into that lead. They will want to hold on to it, and that could add pressure. But I just think Hibs at this moment in time, particularly the weekend there, I thought they looked tired in the last 30 minutes of the game. Quite rightly so. They've had a lot of big, high-profile games that they've had to win. So that could be the killer for them.
Yeah, man for man, who do you think's got the better squad?
Between Hibs and Falkirk?
Yeah.
I would have to say Hibs, yep, but sometimes that doesn't always work, as we spoke about it the other day. It's a team game, but man for man, I think they've got better players.
Yeah, man, I hate criticising managers at any point, Ruffy, but if Peter Houston keeps subbing John Baird, I'm not going to win my bet, and Falkirk, I don't think are going to finish second.
Well, you've got 8. He's on a goal a game now. He's got 8 games left. He's got 8 goals to get. We saw it before, but he's had a couple of hat-tricks on his game, you know, that he can do that. I thought he might have notched at the weekend, but no, it's exciting. It's exciting for us, you know. It's exciting knowing that. Is there a meal at the end of this one?
There is. This is the only bet that's alive now. I mean, the head-to-head, you didn't put anything on it, which was great news for me. And the other aspect of it, which is a real bonus, is you know, he's got to get to 25. The downside, I think, for both of us is the fact that Martin Wycorn's not kicking a ball, because I think we wanted Martin to have at least a right good go at 40 goals, but I can't see that happening, even if I mean, I don't see him coming back before the end of the season.
No, I think if Rangers win the league, they wouldn't want to push him. You know, that I think there are a lot of important games coming up for Rangers, but I mean, there's the wee boy Hayes. I didn't think he was going to be back so quickly, so it depends what's happening behind the scenes at Rangers, and I'm sure the boy would like to finish off the season, because he would be in the running for one of the Player of the Year awards.
Yep. The other award was handed out to Barry Ferguson, and I think great credit to Barry for what he's doing with Clyde.
Yeah, he's just digging in there. You know, when we had him on the show, he's been in the managerial job since short term, but he's realised how you get out of divisions, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get out of this division, because he brought in a different kind of player than what he had when he went in at the start. So he's got experienced players in there, but he, like everybody else, needs to start winning games.
Yep. Are they an outside bet in the playoffs for you?
No, I don't think they're an outside bet. I think they will be in the playoffs at least. And then after that, then just take your chances.
Yep. Okay. Good to get your thoughts on that as well. Mark Warburton has been speaking. Obviously, Rangers take on Morton on the Friday. But he's been actually, leaping to the defence of Ronnie Deila, saying he feels a little bit sorry for the Celtic manager. He's taking too much stick. Are we guilty? Have we been guilty, among others in the media, of giving the Celtic manager too much stick?
No, I think the Rangers manager is now entering the real world of Scottish football. It's Rangers and Celtic. It's Rangers and Celtic every day of the week.
Yeah.
And if you're doing well, nobody bothers with you. If you're not doing well, or particularly well, then you're in the media. And I'm sure the Rangers manager will appreciate some of the wee media titty-tats they've had this year.
Let me write that one down. Another Ruffyism. A wee media titty-tat.
He's in for a shock next year if he doesn't win 2 games in a row. That's the way we are up here. It's and I think he's realised that now with the supporters just walking about, the Rangers supporters, how much it means to them. And so next year when they come up, as I expect they will be, I think we're in for a right good time with the both of them, if they're still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Ruffy. Let's not forget you can interact with us on Twitter. You might want to put on Twitter at Peter and Ruffy your top 10 titty-tats in Scotland over the last few years. I certainly can't think of one, but you can do that. You can go facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy and give us your thoughts on the programme. It's St Johnstone against Inverness, Ruffy, tomorrow. As well, a chance for St Johnstone to try and get some kind of form together before the end of the season. I sometimes wonder and look and try and work out how you can have such a monumental collapse and try and get things back on track.
Yeah, I've said all along that sometimes a team like St Johnstone, who are very a team club, the players all work for each other, they don't have big stars on their side, but certainly we have Halloran, who is a star, and Mackay at the back, who's just a team player. Yeah,
they've missed Mackay though. I think he'll be back before the end of the season, at least to try and get some training over the summer and get back in there. But he, I think, has been a huge loss to them.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And particularly at home, and I don't think anybody wanted to go to St Johnstone. They were always very difficult to beat up there. They had a fantastic away form as well at one part of the year, but it's all gone now. It's amazing that 2 or 3 players taking out a team, and that can happen to you.
Yeah, and Inverness, just on the point of the replay, do you think Hibs have blown their chance now that it goes back up to the Tulloch Stadium?
Oh, I think Inverness have home advantage. I would think if you asked John Hughes that he would say, yeah, they are the favourites now. But I don't think there is, as we saw at the weekend there, much between the two sides. I think Hibs come out, created all the chances. Inverness goalie had 2 or 3 good saves. So, no, I think that one's still in the balance.
Still in the balance. OK, now, listen, Ruffy, over a 2-day period, if you've got complete control in your house, you get a chance to watch Champions League games, but we're watching Champions League games that more often than not are not very exciting at this stage. So we've got a situation which I find is quite amusing, which is Real Madrid. They're now actually questioning whether Zidane will stay in that job before the end of the season, or at the end of the season he'll be replaced. Now, it's a good job that Celtic don't have the Real Madrid board in charge, or Ronnie Deila would have been gone long ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. Even Real Madrid, even if he gets to the final and wins the final, he's not guaranteed to hang on to his job. That's just the way it is over there. But I'm surprised that they're judging him already. He's still there. He's still winning games. A good result against Roma in the last leg. You would expect him to go through tonight. So it must be something, the style of player. I don't know, maybe just...
I'm not quite sure it's the style of player, Ruffy. I think it's just all about results with them. They've hammered Celta Vigo 7-1. It's still not enough, even with Ronaldo scoring 4 goals. I mean, it's just quite simply win against Roma, get through, and try and get to the Champions League final and win it. And they're a club actually who've sacked 2 managers who've won the Champions League.
Well, I don't think I would like to be the president that sacks him, because he's known to lose a head now and again.
Absolutely.
So I'd be very aware that when you actually do it, that you're in sort of a distance from him.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, Ruffy. But do you fancy Real Madrid? They're 2-0 up from the first leg. That's game's a bogey,
yeah, it was. I saw the first leg, and they were well in control, and I think they will be tonight as well.
And Wolfsburg against Ghent?
Now, there's a player at Wolfsburg, and I might get his name wrong now.
Yeah.
Draxler.
Yes.
I can't believe none of the big clubs went for him.
Well, they were going for him in the summer, quite a lot of them, Arsenal in particular, Ruffy,
yes,
but in the end I think he signed a new deal.
Yeah, for me, he is the star of that side, and when we all talk about Lee Griffiths scoring the first goal, I would have him on my coupon tonight as well.
Yeah, okay, and I'll get your thoughts tomorrow on Zenit Benfica and Chelsea against Paris Saint-Germain. Will Zlatan still be in the competition by Thursday morning? Okay, if you want to give us your combined Old Firm 11 ahead of that Scottish Cup semi-final, you can just go to peterandruffy.com and offer your combined 11. Who do you think would make it into the Rangers team? Who do you think would make it into the Celtic team? Give us your selection on that. Tomorrow you can join us on the programme. We'll have a boot-room guest for you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll turn up, that is. From Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.